January 20th, 1993. Tolochenaz, Switzerland. Audrey Hepburn is dying. Colon cancer. Her final days. As she lies in bed, surrounded by her sons Sean and Luca, she's thinking about children. Not just her sons, but the children she lost. The ones who never got to live. The ones she spent her entire adult life trying to save through UNICEF. "I understand hungry children," she whispers to a friend. "I understand abandonment. I understand what it feels like to lose everything." She's not just talking about the war, not just about her UNICEF work. She's talking about two losses that shaped her entire existence. Two moments of devastation that broke something inside her so completely, she never fully healed. The first loss. May 15th, 1935, Brussels, Belgium. Audrey is 6 years old. Her father, Joseph Anthony Ruston, kisses her goodbye. "I'm going to work, little one," he says. "Be good for Mama." He walks out the door of their apartment, and he never comes back. Ever. No explanation, no goodbye, no contact. Just gone. The second loss, September 1959. Bergenstock, Switzerland. Audrey is 30 years old, married to Mel Ferrer, 4 months pregnant with their second child. She wakes up bleeding, cramping, knowing something is terribly wrong. By evening, the baby is gone. Another miscarriage, the 5th one, the one that finally breaks her. 58 years apart. 2 devastating losses, age 6 and age 30. The abandonment and the death. The father who chose to leave and the child who never got to stay. 2 wounds that never healed. 2 traumas that defined every relationship, every choice, every moment of pain and joy for the rest of Audrey Hepburn's life. This is the story of those losses. How they connected across decades. How they shaped the woman the world fell in love with. And how, despite her beauty and success and humanitarian work, Audrey Hepburn never truly recovered from what happened when she was 6 years old and what kept happening throughout her adult life. Because sometimes, the most beautiful people carry the deepest wounds. And sometimes, those wounds create the very compassion that makes them beautiful. To understand how these 2 losses destroyed Audrey Hepburn, you need to understand what they took from her. The first loss, her father's abandonment, took her ability to trust. The second loss, the miscarriages, took her ability to believe she deserved happiness. Together, they created a woman who spent her entire life trying to save others because she couldn't save herself. May 15th, 1935. Brussels. Audrey Kathleen Ruston is 6 years old, small for her age. Thin, serious. She has her father's dark hair and her mother's delicate features. She speaks 3 languages, English, Dutch, and French. She's intelligent, observant, unusually mature for a child. Her father, Joseph Anthony Ruston, is a British-Austrian businessman, 46 years old, handsome, charming, educated. To 6-year-old Audrey, he's everything a father should be. He reads to her in English, teaches her proper pronunciation, brings her small gifts from his business trips, calls her little one in his crisp British accent. Her mother, Baroness Ella van Heemstra, is Dutch nobility, elegant, cultured, cold. She has little patience for motherhood, views Audrey as a duty rather than a joy. Joseph provides the warmth in Audrey's young life, the affection, the sense of being loved and wanted. The family lives in a comfortable Brussels apartment. Not wealthy, but secure. Joseph's import business is struggling. The political situation in Europe is becoming unstable. But they're managing. Audrey has no sense that anything is wrong. Her world feels safe, predictable, loving. Then, on May 15th, 1935, everything changes. Joseph leaves for work that morning like always. Kisses Audrey goodbye. Promises to read her a story when he comes home. She spends the day playing, drawing, helping the housekeeper with small tasks. Waiting for Papa to return. Evening comes. No Joseph. Ella makes excuses. Papa is working late. He had to travel unexpectedly. He'll be home tomorrow. Audrey accepts these explanations because children believe their parents. Because the alternative, that Papa would leave without saying goodbye, is unthinkable. But tomorrow comes, and the next day, and the next. Still no Joseph. A week passes. Ella's explanations become vaguer, more strained. Audrey starts asking direct questions. When is Papa coming home? Where did Papa go? Why hasn't Papa called? Ella's answers become harsh, impatient. Stop asking about your father. He's away for work. I don't know when he'll be back. 2 weeks pass. Audrey is confused, frightened. 6-year-olds don't understand business trips that last 2 weeks. Don't understand why Papa wouldn't call. Wouldn't send a postcard, wouldn't at least say good night. A month passes. The truth becomes unavoidable, even to a 6-year-old mind. Papa isn't coming back. Not tonight, not tomorrow, not ever. These forgotten stories deserve to be told. If you think so too, subscribe and like this video. Thank you for keeping these memories alive. But Ella never explains, never sits Audrey down and tells her the truth, never says the words that would help a child understand. Papa has left us. It's not your fault. Sometimes adults make terrible choices. This is about Papa's problems, not about you. Instead, Ella pretends nothing has happened, mentions Joseph less and less, changes the subject when Audrey asks about him, acts as if he never existed, as if Audrey's father, the most important person in her young world, was just a dream. For 6-year-old Audrey, this is incomprehensible. Where do fathers go when they disappear? Did Papa stop loving her? Did she do something wrong? Is that why he left without saying goodbye? The questions torture her, keep her awake at night, make her stomach hurt, make her stop eating. She becomes quieter, more withdrawn, more serious. The lightness of childhood disappears, replaced by a constant anxiety she's too young to understand. Months pass. A year, 2 years. No word from Joseph. No explanation from Ella. Just silence, as if the man who called Audrey little one never existed. But children don't forget their fathers, even when those fathers abandon them. Especially then. Audrey spends years wondering, waiting, hoping. Maybe Papa will come back for her birthday. Maybe he'll send a Christmas card. Maybe he'll realize he made a mistake. He doesn't. Joseph Anthony Ruston has vanished from Audrey's life as completely as if he died. Except death would have provided closure. Grief has stages. Abandonment just has questions. Endless, unanswerable questions. What Audrey doesn't know, what Ella never tells her, is why Joseph left. The truth would only make it worse. Joseph Anthony Ruston was a Nazi sympathizer. In 1935, as Hitler rose to power, Joseph believed Germany represented the future. He attended fascist meetings, read Nazi publications, contributed money to pro-German organizations. When war seemed inevitable, Joseph made a choice. He abandoned his wife and daughter and fled to Germany. Not for work, not because of financial problems, because he chose fascism over family. Ella discovers this after Joseph disappears. His business contacts reveal his political activities, his true loyalties, the real reason he left. Ella is horrified, ashamed, terrified that Joseph's Nazi connections could destroy her family's reputation. So she buries the truth, tells no one, certainly not her 6-year-old daughter. For the rest of her life, Audrey believes her father left because he stopped loving her, because she wasn't good enough, because she did something wrong. She never learns the truth, that Joseph left because he was a coward and a Nazi, that his abandonment had nothing to do with her worth as a daughter and everything to do with his lack of worth as a human being. This lie, this belief that she was somehow responsible for her father's abandonment, becomes the foundation of Audrey's psychology. The wound that never heals, the voice in her head that whispers, "You're not good enough. People leave you. Love doesn't last. You can't trust anyone completely." And this wound shapes every relationship Audrey will ever have. Every choice, every moment of happiness shadowed by the fear that it won't last. Because when you're 6 years old and your father disappears without explanation, you learn that the people who claim to love you can vanish at any moment. Without warning, without reason, without caring how much it destroys you. 1939, World War II begins. Audrey is 10 years old. She and Ella are living in the Netherlands now with Ella's family. Money is scarce, food is rationed, Nazi soldiers occupy the streets. Audrey is hungry constantly, malnourished, surviving on tulip bulbs and sugar water. But even in wartime, even hungry and afraid, Audrey never stops hoping her father will come back. Maybe the war will end and Papa will find her. Maybe he's been trying to reach her all this time. Maybe he never really wanted to leave. Children cling to hope because the alternative, accepting that a parent chose to abandon them, is too devastating to bear. The war ends in 1945. Audrey is 16. Still no word from Joseph. By now she understands he's never coming back. But understanding and accepting are different things. Part of her, the 6-year-old part that never grew up, is still waiting by the window for Papa to come home. This is what abandonment does to children. It freezes them at the moment of loss. No matter how old Audrey gets, how successful she becomes, how many people love her, there's always a 6-year-old inside her wondering why Papa left. Wondering if she was lovable enough, he would have stayed. 1948, Audrey is 19. Living in London. Working as a chorus girl. Struggling to survive. Beautiful, but unknown. She starts dating men, and immediately the pattern begins. She chooses unavailable men, complicated men, men who can't fully commit to her. Why? Because unavailable men feel safe. They can't abandon you if you know from the beginning they're not really yours. Her first serious relationship, with a married photographer. Married photographers don't leave their wives, so Audrey can love him without risking real abandonment. When the affair ends, it proves what she already knows. She's not worth leaving a wife for. Her next relationship, with British businessman James Hansen. Rich, older, controlling. He gives her an ultimatum. Marriage means no career. Choose him or acting. Audrey chooses acting. Another abandonment, but one she controls. Better to leave than be left. 1953, Roman holiday. Audrey meets Gregory Peck. He's married with children. Perfect. She can fall in love safely because he'll never fully be hers. When the affair ends, when Peck chooses his family, Audrey isn't surprised. Just confirmed in her belief that love doesn't last. 1954, Sabrina. Audrey meets William Holden. Married, alcoholic, had a vasectomy, can't give her children. Another perfect choice for a woman who believes she doesn't deserve complete happiness. She falls deeply in love with someone who can never give her a family. When that ends too, another confirmation. She's not worth changing for. 1955, Audrey marries Mel Ferrer. Finally, someone who's available. Someone who chooses her. Someone who can give her the family she desperately wants. But there's a catch. Mel is controlling, manipulative, psychologically abusive. He treats Audrey like a possession rather than a partner. And Audrey accepts this treatment because deep down, she believes it's what she deserves. This is what childhood abandonment creates. Adults who equate love with suffering. Who believe that if a relationship is easy and healthy, it can't be real. Who choose partners who confirm their worst beliefs about themselves. But Mel offers something Audrey needs even more than love. The possibility of becoming a mother. Having children who will never abandon her. Creating a family that can heal the wound her father left. 1955. Audrey gets pregnant. She's 26 years old, married, financially secure. This should be the happiest time of her life. Instead, she's terrified. What if something goes wrong? What if she's not meant to be a mother? What if she loses this baby the way she lost her father? Her fears prove prophetic. At 3 months, she miscarries. The first loss. Devastating, but not uncommon. The doctor reassures her. These things happen. You're young. You'll have other children. But for Audrey, this isn't just a medical event. It's confirmation of her deepest fear. She doesn't deserve happiness. Good things don't last for her. Even unborn children leave her. 1956, pregnant again. This time she makes it further. 4 months, 5 months. She starts believing maybe it will be okay this time. Maybe she can have the family she wants. Maybe she can be the mother she never really had. 6 months, 7 months. She's cautious but hopeful. Preparing a nursery, buying baby clothes, imagining holding her child, teaching him or her to speak properly, the way Papa taught her, being the parent who stays. 8 months. Something goes wrong. Premature labor. The baby is too small, too weak, lives for a few hours, then dies. Audrey holds her child once, sees his tiny face, his perfect fingers, his father's nose. Then he's gone. The second loss. This one nearly destroys her, because this child lived, briefly. She saw him, held him, lost him. It's not just miscarriage now, it's death. The death of the child who was supposed to heal everything. 1957. Pregnant again, third try. This time, she's almost afraid to hope. Afraid to prepare. Afraid to love the child before it's safely in her arms. But hope is stronger than fear, and she can't help imagining a future with this baby. 4 months pregnant, filming the nun's story in Africa. The heat, the stress, the physical demands of the role. Something goes wrong again. 3rd miscarriage, 3rd loss. This one breaks something in Audrey that never fully heals. Because the pattern is clear now. She can get pregnant. But she can't keep babies. Can't create the family she desperately needs. Can't heal the wound her father left by becoming the parent who stays. 1959. 4th pregnancy. Audrey is 30 years old. She's learned not to tell people early, not to prepare too much, not to hope too hard. But secretly, desperately, she wants this baby more than anything she's ever wanted in her life. If you want more untold stories like this, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Your support means everything to us. She makes it past the 3-month mark where the other miscarriages happened. 4 months, 5 months. This time feels different, stronger, more real. Maybe this is the one. Maybe this is her chance to have the family that will never abandon her. September 1959. Bergenstock, Switzerland. Audrey is staying at the hotel where she and Mel often vacation. It's beautiful here. Peaceful. Safe. A good place to rest during pregnancy. A good place to hope. She wakes up at dawn, bleeding. Not spotting. Bleeding. She knows immediately what's happening, has been through this 3 times before. But knowledge doesn't make it easier, doesn't make it hurt less. By noon, it's over. 4th miscarriage, 4th loss, 4th confirmation that she's not meant to be a mother. That happiness isn't for her. That even her unborn children abandon her. This loss, September 1959, age 30, is the one that finally breaks her. Not just because of the miscarriage itself, but because of what it represents. The end of hope. The final proof that some wounds never heal. That some people aren't meant to have the love they desperately need. Audrey lies in the Swiss hospital bed and makes a connection she's never made before. She's 6 years old again, wondering why Papa left. She's 30 years old, wondering why her babies can't stay. The feelings are identical. The abandonment is the same. Only the age changes. That night, alone in the hospital, Audrey realizes the truth that will haunt her for the rest of her life. She's cursed. Cursed to lose everyone she loves. Cursed to want things she can't have. Cursed to be abandoned by the people who should love her most. Her father. Her unborn children. Everyone who should stay but doesn't. This realization that she's fundamentally unlovable becomes the defining truth of Audrey Hepburn's existence. Not the success, not the fame, not the beauty, the belief that she doesn't deserve love, because everyone she loves leaves her. The irony is devastating. The woman the world adores believes she's unworthy of love. The actress who represents elegance and grace believes she's fundamentally flawed. The humanitarian who dedicates her life to saving children does so because she couldn't save her own. 1960. Against all odds, Audrey gets pregnant again. 5th time. She's 31 years old, older, more cautious. She doesn't decorate a nursery, doesn't buy baby clothes, doesn't even tell most people she's pregnant. Because hope has become too dangerous. Expecting happiness has become a guarantee of disappointment. But this time is different. This time, the pregnancy holds. Audrey gives birth to Sean Hepburn Ferrer on July 17, 1960. Healthy, perfect, alive. After 4 losses, after years of believing she was cursed, Audrey finally becomes a mother. The joy is indescribable, the relief overwhelming. Sean doesn't just represent a child. He represents proof that maybe she isn't cursed after all. Maybe she can keep something she loves. Maybe she deserves happiness. But even motherhood is shadowed by trauma. Audrey becomes obsessively protective of Sean, watches him constantly, checks on him multiple times during the night, terrified that he too will be taken from her. Because in her experience, everything she loves eventually leaves. 1970, Audrey divorces Mel Ferrer. The marriage that was supposed to heal her childhood wound has instead revealed new wounds. Mel's psychological abuse, his control, his resentment of her success. After 16 years of marriage, Audrey finally understands. Staying in an abusive relationship doesn't heal abandonment trauma. It just creates new trauma. The divorce is devastating, but necessary. And it confirms Audrey's worst fears about herself. Another relationship failed. Another person left. Even when she tries to be perfect, even when she sacrifices her own needs, people still abandon her. 1969. Audrey marries Andrea Dotti, 9 years younger, charming, Italian. He seems different from Mel. Less controlling, more fun. Maybe this time will be different. Maybe this time she can have the marriage she always wanted. 1970, Audrey gives birth to Luca Dotti, second child, second miracle. After 5 miscarriages, after believing she might never have more children, Audrey has 2 sons. 2 people who will never abandon her. 2 loves that will last forever. But Andrea disappoints her too. Cheats constantly, flaunts his affairs, humiliates her publicly. Another marriage fails, another abandonment. Even when Audrey tries to be the perfect wife. Even when she tolerates infidelity and disrespect, her husband still leaves emotionally long before the legal divorce. 1982. Audrey's second divorce is finalized. 2 failed marriages, pattern confirmed. She's 43 years old and starting to understand something crucial. The problem isn't her marriages. The problem is her belief that she needs someone else's love to prove her worth. The problem is choosing partners who confirm her worst beliefs about herself, rather than partners who challenge those beliefs. But Audrey never fully heals from her father's abandonment or her pregnancy losses. She learns to manage the trauma, to build a successful career despite it, to find meaning in humanitarian work. But the wounds remain open. The 6-year-old who lost her father and the 30-year-old who lost her babies are always there, waiting for the next abandonment. 1980, Audrey meets Robert Wolders, kind, patient, devoted. For the first time in her life, Audrey experiences a relationship without drama, without abandonment, without the constant fear that love won't last. But even with Robert, Audrey can't fully commit. They never marry. Not because Robert doesn't want to, but because Audrey can't believe in forever. Can't trust that someone won't leave. Can't risk the legal and emotional vulnerability of marriage after 2 failures. Robert understands, accepts her limitations, loves her despite her inability to fully trust. For 13 years, he provides the stability Audrey never had as a child. The consistent love she always needed, but never believed she deserved. 1988. Audrey becomes a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador. Finally, she finds the purpose that heals her deepest wounds. Not completely, but enough to make life meaningful. Saving children who have been abandoned. Feeding children who are starving the way she starved during the war. Protecting children the way no one protected her when her father left. This work isn't just humanitarian, it's therapeutic. Every child Audrey saves is the 6-year-old she used to be. Every mother reunited with her child heals a small part of Audrey's miscarriage trauma. Every family preserved challenges her belief that love doesn't last. Through UNICEF, Audrey discovers something crucial. She can't heal her own childhood wounds, but she can prevent other children from experiencing similar trauma. She can't bring back her lost babies, but she can save other people's children. She can't change her past, but she can transform her pain into purpose. 1993. Audrey's final illness. Colon cancer. As she lies dying, surrounded by Sean and Luca, she reflects on her life. The success, the failures, the love, the loss, the 2 wounds that shaped everything. "I understand hungry children," she tells a friend. "I understand abandonment." She does, because she was the hungry child whose father abandoned her. She was the woman whose babies couldn't stay. She lived her entire life carrying those losses. Let them shape her choices, her relationships, her work, her identity. But in her final days, Audrey also understands something else. Those wounds, the 6-year-old's abandonment and the 30-year-old's losses, created the compassion that defined her. The empathy that made her UNICEF work so powerful. The understanding that connected her to suffering children around the world. Her trauma wasn't her fault, but her response to trauma, the choice to transform pain into purpose, was her triumph. She couldn't heal her own wounds completely, but she could use those wounds to heal others, to save children, to prevent abandonment, to create the kind of love and protection she'd always needed, but never received. January 20th, 1993. Audrey Hepburn dies. Colon cancer, age 63. Her sons are with her. Robert is with her. She doesn't die alone, doesn't die abandoned, dies surrounded by love. But even in death, the wounds remain. The 6-year-old who waited for Papa to come home. The 30-year-old who lost baby after baby. The woman who spent her entire life believing she wasn't worthy of lasting love because the first man who should have loved her unconditionally chose to disappear without explanation. This is the real story of Audrey Hepburn. Not just the beauty and elegance and success, but the trauma underneath. The 2 losses that destroyed something essential in her. The abandonment and the miscarriages. The father who left and the babies who couldn't stay. The wounds that never fully healed but created the compassion that saved millions of children. Audrey Hepburn was broken at age 6 and again at age 30. But she was also made beautiful by that brokenness. Made empathetic, made driven to protect others from the pain she'd experienced, made into the humanitarian who understood hungry, abandoned children because she had been one. The tragedy isn't that Audrey was wounded. The tragedy is that she was wounded so young, so deeply, that she never fully believed she deserved the love that surrounded her, never fully trusted that happiness would last, never fully healed from losses that weren't her fault, but shaped her entire existence. But the triumph is what she did with those wounds. How she transformed abandonment into advocacy. How she turned miscarriage into a mission to save other people's children. How she chose to protect rather than destroy. to heal rather than harm, to give rather than take. 2 losses destroyed Audrey Hepburn. But they also created her, made her the woman who could look at a starving child in Somalia and see herself at 6 years old, who could hold a sick baby in Bangladesh and remember the babies she'd lost, who could dedicate her final years to protecting children because no one had protected her when she needed it most. Age 6 and age 30. 2 moments of devastation, 2 wounds that never healed, 2 losses that defined a life, but also 2 sources of the compassion that saved millions. The brokenness that created beauty, the trauma that transformed into triumph, the pain that became purpose. Audrey Hepburn never fully recovered from what happened when she was 6 and what kept happening throughout her adult life. But she didn't need to recover completely. She just needed to transform the wounds into something meaningful, something that helped others heal even if she couldn't heal herself. That's the real legacy of Audrey Hepburn. Not the films or the fashion or the fame, but the proof that broken people can still create beauty, that wounded people can still heal others, that the children who are abandoned and the women who lose babies can still save the world. One child at a time, one moment of compassion at a time, one choice to transform pain into purpose at a time. 2 losses, 6 and 30. They destroyed her. They also created her. Both things can be true. Both things are true. That's what makes Audrey Hepburn's story so heartbreaking and so beautiful, so tragic and so triumphant, so human. This is Audrey Hepburn, The Hidden Truth. From wartime horrors to Hollywood secrets, we uncover what they've been hiding for decades. Subscribe to discover the dark truth behind the elegant image.